Hey Roosters, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over another Star Wars Unlimited Leader Spotlight. Let's go over for you a disclaimer before we get into the Leader Spotlight of the day. This is not a meta-analysis. It's not the best cards to play with each of these leaders. They're just personal opinions. And even within those opinions, not every card that I think works great with these leaders will be featured in today's video. In fact, it either can be because I don't have space for it, but maybe I just completely forgot it. So, if you have a card that you think works really well with any particular lead that we cover in this series, make sure you drop it in the comment section below so we can have a conversation about it and we can talk about it. Today we're talking about Rey. Definitely a controversial character within the Star Wars landscape. Not the best protagonist of the three main ones, but I digress. Rey is a vigilance and heroism leader, force and fringe. The keyword force is going to be really important with a lot of different ways you can play this leader here, because every leader always has the innate ability to be played into a force-sensitive deck, and her having that keyword gives her that ability. She has an action, you pay a resource and you exhaust her. Give an experience token to a unit with 2 or less power. Obviously, this ability is pretty good for one reason, is that there's no restriction on what type of unit you can put it on. It can be put onto a underworld, imperial, rebel, fringe, force, whatever, right? The bad thing about this ability is that there's a limit to how many times you can use it on a particular unit. Because the ability says 2 or less power, that means once you give a unit enough experience tokens that its power exceeds 2, it is no longer eligible for this ability. That can be a downside, but ultimately your goal with Rey is to play just the best cards from a lot of different sort of traits and sort of power them up using her ability here. So, when she flips over to her leader unit form, when you have 6 or more resources, you can deploy her. She's a 2/6, restore 3. That's a really big number for restore. Healing 3 damage every time you swing with her is going to be really big. And then she says, on attack, you may give an experience token to a unit with 2 or less power. Let's get into some of the units you can play with Rey here that work with her ability and her overall game plan, which can either be, of course, warming the field with a lot of little units, powering them up, or, of course, just healing your base a whole ton can work too. The Clan Run Rescuer is a 2-cost, 1 power, 2 HP unit. That says when you play him, you can give an experience token to a unit. Obviously, you can give out experience tokens. It's kind of what you're sort of doing already. And he works with Rey's ability on his own. Rose Tico is a 4-cost, 2/6 shielded unit that has the ability on attack. You may defeat a shield token on a friendly unit, and if you do, you can give 2 experience tokens to that unit. Same basic idea. Generally, though, in this particular deck, shield tokens are going to be pretty important, but that ability to swap a shield token for the extra damage or extra health can be important too. Gentle Giant's a cool one. It's going to be a higher cost unit that you actually can play in right here and use her ability on. 6 cost to 8 grit. Obviously, once the grit starts kicking in, her ability will no longer be active. But before that happens, you can use her ability on this unit. And then it also says on attack, you may heal damage from another unit equal to the damage on this unit. Val's a weird unit here. 2 cost, 2/4. Bounty, deal 3 damage to a unit. And then also, when she's defeated, you can give 2 experience tokens to a friendly unit. Again, the whole experience token game is sort of a game you may want to be playing with here. Yoda is a really cool one. 3 cost, 2/4, restore 2. And also, when he's defeated, you can choose any number of players that each draw a card. Follower of the Way is a 2-cost, 1/3. While this unit is upgraded, it gets +1/+1. Remember that an experience token is an upgrade. So playing experience tokens onto this unit will count as upgrading it. Concord Dawn Interceptors is going to be a 3-cost, 1/4 unit. Sentinel, this unit gains +2 power while defending. Obviously, you can give this unit a couple of experience tokens, and it still has the power when it's defending. So even though its power is 4 most of the time, when it's defending, it gets buffed. So it works with Rey's ability for a lot longer than some of the other units, while still defending for 3 power. The Restored Arc 170 is a 2-cost, 2/3 unit with Restore 1. It's just generically in line with what Rey kind of wants to do. Then you also can get in some events like Mystic Reflection, 1 cost, give an enemy unit -2 power for this phase, and if you control a force unit, which you may with Rey or some other units you may be playing, give the enemy unit -2 for this phase instead. Force is With Me is a 4-cost event. Choose a friendly unit. You give 2 experience tokens to it, and if you control a force unit, you may give a shield token to the chosen unit. And then you may, of course, attack with the chosen unit. It binds all things as a 2-cost unit, healed up to 3 damage from a unit. If you control a force unit, you may deal that much damage to another unit. The Jedi Lightsaber is a 3-cost upgrade, 3/3, attached to a non-vehicle unit. If the attached unit is a force unit, it gains on attack. Give the defender -2/-2 for this phase. Obviously, whatever unit you put this on is going to have more than 2 power at that point. So there's that. But also, you kind of want to put this on Rey herself to give her that extra stat buff. Resilience and weird choice I put in here just to let people know that they have it. 1 cost 0 plus 0 power plus 3 HP. A lot of times you're playing units with low power. That usually means they're going to be lower costed. So giving them more HP is going to give them a little more survivability. While they're not, this upgrade is not going to affect their viability to be used with Rey's ability. On to aggression. House Cast Soldier is a 2-cost 2/3 unit with Saboteur. Obviously, when you're swinging in, you're going to have those pesky Sentinel and Shield abilities trying to get in your way. And this just sort of says, okay, your opponent may be doing that, but I'm going to get around that anyway, because there are some decks that kind of just want to overwhelm you with Shields and Sentinel, and having a way to get through it is going to be always important with every leader, or every deck. And this way, you can also use it with Rey's ability. Sabine Wren's a 2-cost 2/3, another Mandalorian unit, incidentally. While there are 3 different aspects among friendly units, this unit can't be attacked unless she gains Sentinel. And then also on attack, you may deal 1 damage to the defender or to a base. Benthic 2-Tubes is always a great red card, 1 cost 2/2, and then he has on attack, another friendly unit, aggression unit gains Rey 2. Rey's going to be another best friend of yours in this Rey deck because it allows you to play units with lower attack, but they can still swing for bigger numbers. Cantina Braggart, not really one of the greatest cards in the game. 1 cost, 0 power, 3 HP, Rey 2. But if you do use him with Rey's ability, you can use him with Rey's ability 3 times before he becomes no longer legal with her ability. So there's that going for him. And then Partisan Insurgent, it's 2 cost, 1/4. Well, you control another aggression unit. This unit gains gains Rey 2. Again, Raid. Green Squadron A-Wing, 2 cost, 1/3, Rey 2. And then one of the better cards throughout set 1 for aggression heroism, 3 cost, 2/3, Raid 1. But then each other heroism unit also gains Raid 1. So it sort of really helps out with the whole raid game plan if you're going down that route. Heroic Sacrifice is an event. 1 cost, draw a card, then attack with a unit. For this attack, it gets +1 power, +2 power, and gains when this unit deals combat damage. Defeat it. Rallying Kai is a weird card here. If you're going for a swarm deck here with Rey, in the sense when I say swarm, I really just mean you play a lot of cheaper units and you play a lot of them, then this is a card you may want to take a look at. 3 costs, double aggression. Each friendly unit gains Raid 2 this phase. And as far as I know, Raid does stack. Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong about that, but for example, if you have Raid 1 and you gain Raid 2, you're now at Raid 3. That's how I think it works. If I'm wrong, please let me know, because that's kind of a big ruling there. But it doesn't really make a difference, because Raid 2 is still pretty good by itself. Force Throw, you're a force unit, so 1 cost, choose a player. That player discards a card from their hand. And if you control a force unit, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the cost of the discarded card. You can choose to discard a card from your opponent's hand, not really caring about the damage, but wanting to reduce your hand size and reduce your options. You can discard from your card from your own hand, knowing what card you have to get the power boost with that card, or rather get the damage of the card's cost that you discarded. There we go. Keep Fighting is an event 2 cost radio unit with 3 or less power. I don't think I necessarily have to explain why this works with Rey's game plan here. They're going to be playing a lot of units with 3 or less power, and even after giving them most of them experience tokens, they'll still have 3 or less power, meaning this card slots very well into the whole game plan. Heroic Resolve is an upgrade, 1 cost. It has 1+1/+1 stat buffs, and it says attached unit gains action. Pay 2, defeat Heroic Resolve on this unit. Attack with this unit. It gets +4 power and gains Overwhelm for this attack. Basically, it seems a little wordy at first, but it's really not that complicated. You spend an action, you pay 2, you discard the card, and you get a attack with +4 and Overwhelm. Obviously, in the deck with a lot of units with low power, the ability to give them this huge stat buff in one big jolt and then swing in, of course, they're going to have Overwhelm 2, which means they're going to swing past whatever unit they're attacking. It's going to mean that this is going to be a pretty cool card in the deck, even if it turns out to be a little too much effort to get it done, being the fact that you have to pay a total of 3, which is not necessarily a bad thing when you really think about it, because 3 for +4 and overwhelm, really +5 and overwhelm, is pretty cool. The only biggest problem is the time it takes to get this set up. That being, you have to pay it for 1, then you have to take the action to destroy it, but even that's not too much of a big deal. Arm to the Teeth is a 2 cost +2/+0 power upgrade. It says attach unit gains on attack, give another friendly unit +2 power for this phase. And you could also smuggle in for 4. It's going to allow you to give it to one of your units and then give it to one of your other units who are a little weaker, more power. Because again, you're playing a lot of units with 2 or less power, at base at least. Kylo Ren is the last card we're talking about for aggression here, simply because he is a little bit of a weird anomaly in the game. Normally, you don't play dark villainy cards in a heroism deck. But Kylo Ren's a 6 sauce, 6/7. While you're playing this unit, ignore his darkness aspect penalty if you control Rey. I'm assuming that is as a leader or as a leader unit. On attack, you give a unit +2 power for this phase. If it's a non-villainy unit, it gains an experience token as well. So obviously, he works extremely well with Rey's game plan here, giving your units plus power only temporarily, so her ability still can be used with them later on in the game, and also gives them experience tokens as well. Obviously, he's a shoo-in for your Rey deck if you end up getting a couple copies of this guy. On to Cunning, we're going to start off with Grogu, 2 cost, 0 power, 5 health, force unit, so he works with Rey in a lot of different ways. You can exhaust him to exhaust an enemy unit. The game plan here is that you can give him you can use Rey's ability on him 3 times before he's no longer eligible, and he's going to have the ability to get those 3 +1/+1 counters, those 3 experience tokens, and he's going to get an 8 health unit. You're still probably not going to be attacking with him that often, but the ability to then swing in with him if you need to is also going to be really important too, because normally he has no power to speak of. So Rogue Operative is a 3 cost 2/4 unit, Saboteur and Raid 2. Obviously, it works well with Rey. You can give it a +1/+1. You can give it an experience token. It has the Raid 2, so it still will, with the experience token, it will swing in for 5. It has Saboteur to ignore those Sentinel abilities and those shields. So all in all, it's a pretty cool option in Rey Cunning. Jawa Scavenger is a 1 cost 2/1 Saboteur unit. Not exactly my favorite unit I put on this list, but it does work with Rey's ability. It does have Saboteur, but you may not end up really seeing this or playing this ever in the leader. The Privateer, 2 costs 2/2. While controlling another cunning unit, this unit gets shielded. Obviously, shielded is a pretty strong ability. It's going to give your units a little more survivability, and then also you can give it, of course, a +1/+1 and experience token. And it will be a 3/3 shielded unit, which, I mean, it's not lighting the world on fire, but it is a pretty cool, pretty decent unit for 2 cost. Well, really 3 cost to give it the experience token, but you get the point. Vanguard Ace, 2 cost, 1/1. When you play for each other card you play this phase, give it an experience token. Obviously, if you're playing a swarm quote-unquote deck, you can drop this card late game when you're on turn 8 or so and get at least like 3-4 +1/+1 counters on it. The only real problem is that once you get those experience tokens, you won't be able to use it as a card with Rey's ability, but the variance in the level of power and health this card has means that it can be used with Rey's ability at some points, and then some other points it won't be able to be, but it is what it is. Mining Guild TIE Fighter, 1 cost 1/2. On attack, pay 2 if you do draw a card. It could work with Rey's ability, but also with just good card draw for low cost up front. So there's that. Outer Rim Headhunter, 2 cost 1/3. Raid 1. On attack, if you control a leader unit, you may exhaust a non-leader unit. So Raid 1, lower than 1 power, as well as the extra added benefit of exhausting non-leader units, regardless of how strong they are, is really cool. Swoop Down, 1 cost event, attack with a space unit. It gains Saboteur and can attack ground units for this attack. If it attacks a ground unit, it gets +2 power, and the defender gets -2 power for the attack. Buffing your units again, they're going to be a little lower power, so there's that. And then also Saboteur, which is good. And then, of course, the ability to use a space unit to attack a ground unit is just pretty cool in general. Shoot First, 1 cost, attack with the unit. Gets +1 power for this attack and deals damage before the defender. Obviously, there's going to be more than a couple of times in which you are a lower health unit because it's a lower costed unit, so it can be a lower power unit. It's going to swing and it's going to die, so maybe this could be a way to keep them alive for a little bit longer, simply by not having them take any combat damage and by swinging and killing the opponent before they kill them. On to command, which is actually a really cool aspect to pair with Rey. You have Kanata. Maz Kanata, 1 cost, 1/1, but then also when you play another unit, you can give an experience token. This is sort of like that little Vanguard ace we talked about earlier, but in this card's case, you can give it a token first with Rey, then play another unit, give it another token, and so on and so forth. So you can reuse Rey's ability with this card once or twice before you then start playing other units and giving it more experience tokens. Freetown Backup, 2 cost, 1/4. On attack, you can give another friendly unit +2/+2 for this phase, and also you can smuggle in for 4, buffing your other units, low power. It works with the game plan. The Sundari Peacekeeper, it's a 3 cost, 1/5, raid 2. So you give it a token with Rey's ability, it can swing in for 4. Pretty good. And then also Restore Tube, so it's going to go with that part of raid 2, healing up your base. Modded Cohort, 4 cost, 2/4, ambush and raid 2. Admiral Akbar, 3 cost, 1/4, restore 1. When you play him, you can deal damage to a unit equal to the number of units you control in its arena. Not this arena, so that's important. So it's just an ability to deal some little extra damage, but also a little restore, minus the low power. Colonel Yularen, 2 cost, 2/3, works with Rey's ability, and then also when you play a green command unit, heal 1 damage from your base. If you're going for that heal deck. Maybe if you're also going for a swarm deck, this works with Maz Kanata. You play a lot of green units, and then you give her +1/+1 counters. You use Yularen to heal your base a little. It could work. Bright Hope, 4 cost, 2/6, Sentinel. When played, you may turn a friendly non-leader ground unit to its owner's hand, and if you do, draw a card. This could be one of your own units. It could be an opponent's unit. It's actually a really cool effect here. And you get a little extra card draw for it. It can't be your opponent's unit. It can only be your own unit, obviously. It says friendly non-leader ground unit. Sorry. Attack pattern Delta is a weird one. 3 cost. Give it a friendly 3 cost double command. So you're going to be paying 5 in Rey. Give a friendly unit +3/+3. Another one +2/+2, and a third one +1/+1. It's not the most powerful card in the world, but if you have a lot of units on the field that you think are going to survive, that these +1/+1s these stat buffs are going to matter, it can make a difference. That's a total of +6/+6. Inspiring Tactical Advantage Shadow does the same idea as Attack Pattern Delta. Buffing your units, they're going to be a little weaker, so maybe you want to make them a little stronger. Inspiring Mentor is a 2 cost upgrade, +1/+1, attached to a non-vehicle unit. Attached unit gains on attack when defeated. And when defeated, give an experience token to another friendly unit. It's going to be a card that is going to see quite a bit of work in this sort of game plan. They're going to be attacking with your units, obviously. You're going to be giving out those experience tokens. And then, of course, because you're playing low power, low health, low costed units, it's probably going to die, and then you're going to give an experience token to another friendly unit. On to the heroes and cards that work well with Rey. Obvious one here is Protector of the Throne, 3 cost, 2/4. While it's upgraded with remember, an experience token is an upgrade. It gains Sentinel, so it's so easy to give this card Sentinel if you need that to happen with Rey's ability. R2-D2 is a cool card here. 1 cost, 1/4. Has a low power, high health sort of stat relationship. When played and on attack, you can look at the top card of your deck. You may put it on the bottom of your deck. Just a good filter there. And similarly, C3PO, 2 cost, 1/4. And then when you play him, when you attack with him, choose a number. Look at the top card of your deck. If it's the chosen number, you may reveal it. If its cost is the chosen number, you may reveal it and draw it. Rebel Pathfinder, 2 cost, 2/3. Saboteur. Gray Squadron Y-Wings, pretty weird. 2 cost, 1/3. On attack, an opponent chooses a unit or basic control, and you may deal 2 damage to it. And multiplayer, this gets a little funny, but generally, you swing in with this, your opponent's going to choose a unit they don't care about, or they might take the damage on their base, especially if they need their units on board. But the way I see it, it's 2 damage. It's 2 damage. The thing swings in for 3, and although you don't really get to choose where it all goes, it is still a 3 swing. And then with Rey, it can be a 4 damage swing. Obviously, your opponent can be spreading out your damage using this your card's effect, so it's not optimal, but value-wise, it is pretty good. Smuggler's Age is a card that can help you heal up 1 cost, heal 3 damage from your base. It's that simple, and you can smuggle it in for its smuggle cost. Lady Proxima is a 1 cost 0/4. When you play another Underworld card, you may deal 1 damage to a base. This card is obviously only going to work if you're playing Underworld, but the part of Rey that's so cool is the flexibility of her deck. You can easily play a specifically Underworld card deck in Rey, and her ability is not really going to care either way. So obviously the Underworld cards might care a little bit, but not that much. So the point is you can play an Underworld deck, and if you do, Lady Proxima in Rey particular is pretty good. You're going to give her a bunch of +1/+1 counters. She's going to get a little healthier. She's going to survive a little bit longer, and you're going to be playing a lot of Underworld cards, maybe in a Swarm sort of setup or a lot of cheap unit sort of setup. You're going to be dealing a lot of damage to a base, usually your opponents. Twin Pod Cloud Car, 3 cost, 2/2, restore 2. It's just a generic card that works well with Rey's ability and game plan. Volunteer Soldier's weird, 3 cost, 2/3, raid 1, but then also if you control another trooper unit, this unit costs -1, so it's a 2 cost, 2/3, raid 1. You give it experience token with Rey. It can do a little bit of work there. And that's going to be it for Rey. Sort of like Kylo, it's a weird deck to wrap your head around at first. But the cool thing about both those decks, Kylo, which we did yesterday, and Rey today, is that their flexibility. Because of their straightforward card abilities and their really the wide expansiveness and ways you can use them, you can take these decks in multitude of different ways. Just like with Kylo, if there ends up becoming a set where Fringe becomes a keyword that you want to take a look at for deck building, how Fringe keyword can matter more in the future. Force is right now still a deck in of itself. A leader with Force has access to all the Force cards. By nature, it's more easy to play that deck in these sort of leaders, especially with a Vigilance leader like this one. And then other than that, you can play into healing up your base. You can play into a little quote-unquote swarm strategy. I know it's really hard to swarm the field in Star Wars Unlimited, but a strategy where you play a lot of units, cheap units, and you can do all these different things with Rey, and ultimately, you're going to have that sort of option there. That's me over for today's video, though. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys for some more Star Wars Unlimited Leader Spotlight. Well, that's going to be all for now, but if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys go ahead and watch some of our other videos that we've made on this channel. Also, give this video a like if you thoroughly enjoyed it. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our future content. And I hope to see you guys back at the Roost.